Statics versus dynamics.
This is a very controversial topic in the calisthenics community. Over time, two camps have formed. Those who focus more on strength and only do statics, always claiming that statics are harder. And those who love dynamics and always say that dynamics are harder. This topic has gone so far that sometimes I feel like there are two completely different communities. Today we're going to solve this mystery. Which of the two disciplines is actually harder? Let's go. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'll quickly explain what I mean when I say statics and dynamics. According to the official definition of the World Calisthenics Federation, statics or strength skills are conditional abilities, isometric elements such as planche or front lever, or concentric elements like handstand push-ups, one-arm pull-ups. Dynamics, on the other hand, are coordination abilities in frontal, sagittal, or horizontal planes. We have examples like swing 540, front flip regrab, shrimp flip, all the dismounts, giants. But I want to make this video easy to watch and understand, so that's why we will make a competition between these two. Let the battle begin. So for the first round, we have which qualities each one develops. Statics can build some raw strength, joint stability, body tension, and even patience. On the other hand, we have dynamics with a lot of explosiveness, timing, coordination, courage you need to be able to do those crazy moves. I can't decide which of those qualities are more valuable. Each discipline has its advantage, so I'll have to give 1 point to each to keep it fair. For the second round, we have the progress. Progress is one of the main arguments from those who say statics are harder than dynamics. And it makes sense because unlocking a static skill can take months or even years. Progress is very slow for almost any static skills you want to learn. On the other hand, dynamics progress can be fast, but also slow. It really depends a lot on the person, and fear plays a huge role here. If we compare super moves for dynamics and statics, for example, swing 720 versus one-arm planche, the learning time in both cases can take years. But still, as a general rule, statics usually take longer to master, so this point goes to statics. For the third round, we have the technique. I would say technique is just as important in both disciplines. In dynamics, if you don't understand the technique, your chances of learning the skill are basically zero. In statics, good technique can prevent many injuries and can shorten the time needed to unlock the skill. So the only fair thing is to give 1 point again to each one, because well understood technique is a massive advantage in both. Final score 3 for statics, 2 for dynamics. Fourth round, we have injury risk. When it comes to injuries, I think we can all agree that dynamics are much riskier than statics. Let's think about it. The worst possible injury in statics might be a muscle tear, right? And even though that sounds awful, it's never fatal. On the other hand, in dynamics, even with an average move, there's chances of breaking a bone. That's still not fatal, but when we talk about super dynamics, things can get really dangerous because of the speed and height involved. One wrong move and you can hit your head, fall really badly, and end up in a wheelchair or worse. So I would confidently say dynamics take the point here. They're tied now. Let's see who wins the last round. For the last round, I've prepared a pretty hard test. We have which one is actually harder in competitions. For this one, I can only give you my own opinion, but I think most of you will agree. During a competition, you're stressed. Really stressed. You have nerves, sweaty palms, adrenaline pumping, and all of this makes focusing very, very difficult. This affects both disciplines, but I say dynamics become 100 times riskier if you can't focus. Strength surprisingly feels easier because of the adrenaline. Let me give you an example. Hefesto, my signature move. When I do it at home, it hurts like shit everywhere. And I can barely do one. At my last competition, with all the adrenaline and nerves, I did three Hefestos in one set. How do you explain it? Dynamics are always the moves I overthink the most, the ones I keep worrying about non-stop during the competition day. My mindset is always like, if I land the dynamic combo, everything else will be fine. So yeah, this point has to go to dynamics. Yeah. And this gives us the answer to our original question. What is truly harder, statics or dynamics? Based on today's battle, dynamics are harder than statics. Now I have to admit that the score was very close, and in the end it doesn't even matter which is harder, but what I said in the beginning about statics and dynamics feeling like two different communities, I'm really curious, what do you think? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. And my final conclusion about this subject is definitely that the hardest thing by far is to truly become a complete athlete, mastering both insane statics and insane dynamics. And again, don't hesitate to share your thoughts in the comments. It's very interesting because after going to so many competitions and meeting so many people in the calisthenics community, I feel like those who focus on statics and those who focus on dynamics each have a personality style that reflects their discipline, kind of. I don't know if this makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you want me to cover other topics, write in the comments. And don't forget that everything is possible if you work hard enough. See you next time. Pa.